At the end of your life, what will be your legacy? What will you leave behind for future generations? For the world, join the World Messenger, Izabela Lundberg, each week as she brings you a new distinguished guest from the business, sports, or entertainment world to share their success, their struggles, and their lessons. They will share their insights into current hot topics that affect everyone. Izabela facilitates an intimate, vulnerable environment to find the true value of humanity and real leadership. Are you ready for your legacy? The legacy that matters?
Hello, my beautiful friends. It's Izabela Lundberg here, the World Messenger, and I am inviting you for another epic episode of Legacy Leadership. My guest today is joining me from London, which I am super excited because I miss Europe so badly. And she is the powerhouse woman, accomplished extraordinary things, and her legacy is already predefined in such a beautiful way. Not only she leads and lives by it, but she is helping others to do the same. She is the founder, creator, and celebrating woman with the Woman of Heart Award. Also, she's a face of Woman of Heart Award. She also created something amazing to celebrate men. So she's also Gentleman of Heart Award creator and behind so many things where she celebrates men who are empowered to speak, as well as author, speaker, writer, personality, producer, and gorgeous face model. We have so much to depict here, but without further ado, I wanted to introduce you to Dr. Desziree Richardson. Desziree, welcome.
Thank you so much. I am so grateful and honored for this beautiful invitation to come here to have a chit chat and also to share some highlights about my journey becoming a woman of heart and celebrating women and of course men all across the globe for their tremendous work, and also my journey as Dr. Desziree Richardson. How do I get here? Thank you.
That is fantastic. We're so honored to have you on the Legacy Leader Show because you, as I mentioned already, not only leading and leaving and helping others to really understand what the legacy is all about and how you have amazing heart and servant leadership here that we need more and more of it. So with that, I would love to start. Do you mind sharing, Dr. Desziree, where did you grow up? How did you start to be such a spiritually strong, powerful woman with heart-centered, obviously, attitude and aptitude in everything you do?
Yes, my journey starts as I was raised and born in a beautiful, tiny island in the Caribbean. It's a British colony. Think about somewhere where the breeze are blowing, the palm trees, the white sand, the crystal clear blue waters, tranquility wrapped in blue. It's the beautiful Anguilla. I was born there. I grew up as a little girl from a single mom who has worked extremely hard. She has struggled all of her life to make a better living for us as her children. So I come from humble beginnings, but I had big dreams. And as a child, I always had visions. And I saw the visions just before my eyes. And everything that I saw, I attained it in my heart. And not only to realize that it has already came to pass. For instance, one example, working in the media industry. As a young, ambitious little girl with big visions, I saw myself with headphones on, not knowing that God has this destiny aligned with me for working in the media industry. So I saw these visions, and then it all came into alignment, and I found myself working on the radio as a broadcaster. But before I got into radio, I was doing sales and sales management, and selling off and expensive David Yurman pieces of jewelry, because I always believe that Connecting with people is something that I like to do because I like to make people feel comfortable in all they do. So selling author them and, being in that kind of connection with my customers was something that I enjoy doing. So it was very easy for me as I continue in my journey, even here in the UK, while I was at university, jumping forward, I was always put at the beginning of the line to always greet people because my teacher said, I have this oneness about me that I was able to connect, and I got a few awards as the best connector whilst at university at the time. So going back to my dream as a young girl growing up. So everything that I saw in my life, whether good or negative, it all came to pass. I saw myself doing many things, and I was just scared to know that, wow, only now that I knew that this was my calling, that I was aligning with everything that God has shown me, the universe has shown me in my visions. And so I worked towards that goal, and also I had this ability to create such projects for women even before moving to this country. Um, for me, I was always fascinated by seeing women at their best, their boldest, and their brightest. So, inviting many women from all across the Caribbean, and these were women who were singing at big concerts, they were reggae superstars, combining all of their talents, DJs, personalities, media houses, they were all females for female empowerment before moving to the UK. So this was something that I was always passionate about, community development, and of course, giving back to the community, and of course, supporting women all across the Caribbean. And before moving to the UK, I was told by many people working in the media, because I was one of the awarded one of the top radio personalities back in Angola through voting, through cable and wireless, and many other awards that I was able to achieve whilst being back in the Caribbean, in the beautiful island of Angola. And that really helps me to understand the person that I was becoming, not knowing that, that this is something that God has in store for me. I know working in media was something that I was always passionate about. And then, hearing my voice on the radio, where many people giving me comments and saying that they love to hear me, not knowing that my voice had an energy. I just thought it was like a normal voice on radio. And it's only when I moved to the UK and I went back and visit after one year coming to the UK, people said the country has changed. Just hearing my voice back, there was a shift in the atmosphere. So it was something more deeper, and that's when I started discovering like who I am and who I want to become, and the journey forward to being the best version of myself and what God has aligned me to do. So giving back to the community and always getting involved in community activities is something that I always was involved in. And while I moved to the UK and as I was studying at college and university, I became a project leader. I felt that there was something that I had to continue doing in this world, is to continue bringing women together and empowering women to become their best. Why second best? Why not become the best of who you are? And I believe in striving and excelling in all of your endeavors, to power on, to stand tall, to become the goddess of stability and strength in our world. And while I was at university, I gathered beautiful souls, beautiful women, and we put on a show for, it was entitled Women Involvement Charity Concert. So we invited volunteers from inside of the university and outside of the university, and we had a beautiful display. We had lovely artists playing the saxophone, the piano, dramatizing, singing, dancing. It was so beautiful. And we raised money for Future Sense charity to help many children in Cambodia. So after that, life got in the way and I chilled out for a bit because I had two kids back to back during the time period. And when after wearing my kids for a little bit, I thought about, wow, how can I continue with this beautiful passion that I had? And while I was also doing all of these amazing things, I was also raising money for different organizations here in the UK, raising money for hospices, for the Children's Hospital here in the USA, working with some amazing charities like Have a Heart Appeal, the Classic Foundation, Help a Capital Child, being championed as a UNICEF Children's Champion, writing to MPs, and just taking part in anything that I can do to give back and to help make the world a better place through working with some amazing charities here in the UK and also traveling internationally and helping as many people as I possibly can. So going forward, I thought about, wow, how can I come back with women involvement, charity concert, and awards? So I look up the word and I said Wicca. And then I thought, oh my God, this word is already, being taken up by, other people. And I thought about what can I do to change the name? And then Women of Heart Awards rang the bell. And I was like, wow. So from Women Involvement Charity Concert and Awards, I now change it into Women of Heart Awards. And I was like, wow, this is a beautiful name. And I registered the company and I thought about, wow, so this is an event and it's a business concept, but then how can I give back? How can I give back once I raise money through this event, whatever I'm doing, whether it's through ticket sales, how can I give back to the community? And that's where Women of Heart Foundation was born. And they decided to work with Women of Heart Foundation. And then I said, okay, Women of Heart Awards. I will then leave Women of Heart Awards until 2020. So I launched the foundation in 2018. And for the past couple of years, I have been working in different countries like in Asia, in Africa, Uganda, Kenya, Nigeria, Liberia, and recruiting ambassadors from all across the world to help bring about the changes that we want to make as a founder of Women of Heart Foundation, which helps to bring awareness around volunteering and how it is so important to volunteer and to give back, and also to support many women and children in poor remote countries. And then I said, wow. So while we was doing this work with Women of Heart Foundation, I said, okay, well, let's start with Women of Heart Foundation first, and let's build that one. And then we're going to have the awards in 2020. So 2020 came, and then what happens? We created the awards online because of 2020. And I was like, oh my God, the pandemic is here. But I always thought about 2020, and I've been saying 2020 from like 2 years ago. So what am I going to do now? And I said, you know what? I have to do this. Let me do this online because I dreamed about WOHA 2020 London. And I think it was in November of 2020, at the last peak of the year, I decided, no, we have to look for all of these fantastic women who are doing amazing work all across the world and present them with these online certificates as a woman of heart. And I was lucky enough to have so many women who were nominated, and we selected them for, looking at their bio and of course their achievements. And we started off with 15, and then 15 went to 25, and then for the next year, 2021, it went to 50, and then 50, like I said, went to 75, and then for 2022, we also went up to 88. And I said 88 is a beautiful number because it made up the particles of the heart. So we're going to stick with 88 as our number each year, because there are millions of women all across the world who are doing amazing things. And if we can highlight them each year and align them with all the beautiful titles that we have on the website, from Youth International Leader to Humanitarian to many different titles. If you visit the website, www.womenofheartawards.com, you will then see all of the amazing titles for women who are from the humanitarian world, philanthropists, women who have given back their efforts, their hard money, and who who are the beating hearts of humanity. And that's how Women of Heart Awards was born. And then let me just go straight into Gentlemen of Heart Awards. And then I thought about, this was back in 2021. So what about the men who who are the foundation of humanity, who are who are the carers of all of these industries that are held together by men? Why don't I give them an award? Why don't I start the Gentlemen of Heart Awards for these men who are great leaders, who lead from the heart space? Because what we want to do with these platforms is to empower more love and kindness and peace for our world. And the only way we can do that is by influencing and encouraging more women and more men to do more good deeds. And also all of the people who wants to get involved, but who are afraid to get involved, the importance of being a woman of heart, the importance of being a gentleman of heart, and what it's going to do for the whole world and for society, for society. Because when you're working from the heart space, it is so powerful, it is so beautiful than to work from the ego. Because when we change our hearts, we
Yeah.
change the world. And also, when we are protecting the emotional intelligence of others, we are saving lives. And once again, these are some great initiatives, and we want as much support to say thank you, and also to encourage many other women and men to come on board and give back to the world. Whether it's a simple smile, whatever you do, kindness is so important. This is all we need. Kindness, love, and peace. There will be no peace without love, and there will
Mm.
be no love without kindness. Thank you.
Wow, what a powerful journey and such a powerful share. And I love how all of this came together. Obviously, I love how you said how you were spiritually guided and aware of, but then also recognizing what's going on in the world and saw a huge opportunity to bring things together. And I love how you interconnect peace, love, and kindness together. And that's your part of your mission statement. And this is so wonderful to see something such a beautiful build on that type of foundation and attracting more and more people, as you said, to be more servant, more heart-centered, and also kind and compassionate towards everyone, and in the same time helping us to restore the peace that we're seeing right now so urgently needed around the world, right?
Yes, it is so definitely needed, because this is only the way forward. It's not about the love of power, but the power of love. And, if we all can journey together and walk the path of righteousness and hold each other's hand and say, this is the way forward. If we can do this and stand tall and be that monument we are embodying as one race, one culture, embracing each other cultures, you know, stepping back and saying, I'm checking in with myself. Who am I and what do I have to offer? And not to be too judgmental, but also to be more supportive instead of being judgmental, to be more um, resilient in everything that you do, but also be patient and and be kind, and not to work from the ego, because the ego is something that is really destroying our world. And fear based is something as well that are really destroying our world, because when we're working from the ego and we're working from fear because we are feeling too inferior or too superior, when we're working for the goodness and the greatness of each other, then we are helping to heal the world.
Mm. I just love that because, again, being involved in so many projects to help to restore the peace and behind the scene and understanding what's really going on, not only just in Ukraine, for example, but other parts of the world where we really see so much struggle and pain, not only because social, economics, environmental stuff that we're
Mhm.
seeing and facing today, but as you said, elements of people. I feel like there has to be a better way to demonstrate for others so they can follow, right? And then how
Yeah.
the leadership shine. So do you mind sharing a little bit your perspective from leadership stand, from heart center leader, what changes and transformations you had a chance to witness as a result, so that others that are watching and listening can really give a try to do that and encourage others to do the same.
Yeah. To me, leadership is all about uh, togetherness. When I'm saying togetherness, is that you're not taking advantage of your position or your power or your status. What you're doing is that as a leader, you are building relationships. You are supposed to be like you're supposed to have that mindset to know that everybody supposed to feel inclusive. There's equity. So you're involving every human being despite their race, religion, culture. And once you're doing that, once you're building that unity of diversity, inclusion, equity into your space and being considerate of others, which means that you're not segregating anyone, you're making people feel like, yes, we are in this together. Back then, it used to be years ago, it used to be more leaders telling people what to do. But this leadership in today's 20 second century, it's more about unity, it's more about working for the common goal and for the common good. So my leadership style is being a servant, even though people find that I'm, a little charismatic, and of course, other styles as well. But one thing I like to do is to ensure that everyone is treated fairly,
Yeah.
with respect, dignity, and of course, equality, which means that you make everyone feel welcome, respected, and accepted. And this is where our world needs to go, where we all feel valued and we all feel the welcome. We all feel that we are much needed and that we're not segregated because of our background. And one thing I talk about a lot is that not how we was born in this world, but it's the legacy that we're going to create, build, and leave behind.
That is fantastic. And I love your philosophy on that. And for everybody watching and listening, see what Dr. Desziree Richardson was able to create herself just from single handed efforts, utilizing her voice, utilizing her guidance and passion, and also her wisdom. And as a result, she's shaping and reshaping the world. So you've been involved in so many beautiful global initiatives beyond obviously environments that you created. You're a great networker and collaborator. You're also very generous in terms of how you support others. Obviously, being involved with Rotary Global Impact Group and just international Rotary clubs, and creating impacts not only in Caribbeans but the rest of the world. Do you mind sharing a little bit about owning that passion and utilizing it, as you just mentioned, for greater good, for everybody that is still trying to figure it out what that might be, but also not sure where to get involved? Where would you recommend for them to step up and contribute and get involved?
Yeah, you see, life is a journey. And, sometimes we go through so many things that will only build us and make us stronger. And I always say, women, we are like a dove on the inside, but we are lioness on the outside. We overcome many hurdles. We have built ourselves up so strong. And some of us, we have taken our power back, but we had to go through certain things in life to make us who we are today. So my message is for every woman, before I start to talk about other things, is that there is a reason that you're going and a season that you're going through what you're going through now, because there's something important about you. There is something special about you. There's something amazing about you, but you have to find yourself inside. And this is done through the power of self-love. All my life, I never knew to love myself. All I've known was to love others, always to give love to others. And this is something that I was doing all of my life, is just loving people, putting people before me, being a people's priority first. And I had to learn the hard way was to, and once I learned to love myself, it really helped me to push on, to power on, and to stand tall and to say no. Because it's okay to say no. It's okay to go through all of the things that you're going through, because when you go through these things, this is going to pave the way for you to become the woman that you're meant to become in this world. So it's okay, whatever you're going through. A lot of women, they have been faced with many difficulties, and I was one of them. I was facing the dark night of the soul. I know what it feels like to be there. You know, when someone say that you're not good enough, you know, when someone say to you that you're ugly woman, look in the mirror, you're not going to be anything, you're fat, you're this and that. All of these emotional, all of these abuse women go through as well, and some men do go through it as well. But when you're going through these things, it's because there's something amazing about you. You have to look in the mirror and tell yourself that I accept me the way I am. I love me for who I am and for who I can become. Never let anyone tell you that you're not good enough. Don't listen to the noise on on the outskirts. Always listen to your inner being and know who you are. And once you start loving yourself and falling in love with you, oh my goodness, it's the most amazing experience where you can look in the mirror and say, I am Desziree, I am Linda, I am Sarah, I am Jessica, whatever your name is. My message to you is that it's not what they say who you are. You are who you believe you are. And also one of my quotes that I talked about on Facebook is that when they tell the world who you are, you show the world who you are, and believe in the possibility. Believe that sometimes when it feels like it's not possible, it is possible. It's the mindset, and this is why I talk about to the women that I'm with on many of my platforms, is the mindset that we create. Because once you have the power of belief, and once you're in control of who you are and what you want to do and how you can stand and stay in your greatness regardless of who think otherwise. Once you find yourself and love yourself and accept yourself, you're on the way to big wins. But when you get to those big wins, always be grounded in gratitude, humility, love, kindness. Because sometimes as women, leaders, when we are climbing the ladder, we become selfish. We're not selfless. Stay grounded and be selfless. Don't become selfish as you go along the ladder.
I just wanted to reflect for a second what you just shared and how powerful that is, because obviously having opportunity to understand what it means to support another human being, specifically what it means to support woman to woman, because it's very few examples of what that healthy support looks like, how to break the history, the stigma, the judgment, the prejudice, and all of those things we're being unfortunately exposed to, and not seeing good role models. So it's fantastic to see you, obviously, as a great role model, how you celebrate men and women, but how you honor them, and that not only through words, but through everyday actions. And that is very important for everybody, again, watching and listening, because we guide and we're watched, and what type of role models we are, what others are learning from us. Are they better off than what we found them, right? And I just love that it's in world of specifically right now that we live in, we have those tremendous opportunities. And with that in mind, I'm curious, what are your take on the legacy? Obviously, because as I mentioned earlier in conversation, and you touched on how important it is to really consciously understand, are you the best version of yourself, and how you show up every day, not just occasionally, right? And what is conscious decision? What do you want your legacy to be? What would you want to be remembered for? How would you like to truly shape the world and impact others?
Yeah, I would like to be remembered for not the glitz and the glam, but for many women and men across the world to say, wow, this has really changed me as a person. And I would love for a lot of my one wish, and this is for everyone in the world. If I can have one wish before we all die, is let's all die with love in our hearts. And that's what the legacy that I want to leave, that when you die, before you die, you are changing your reality and how you treat people, how you respect people. And one thing is about being considerate. And remember, I talk about when we are considerate about other people's feelings, because we know our feelings.
Yes.
And when we are considerate about other people's feelings, and when we are protecting their well-being, their emotional intelligence, we are not only helping to change the world, we are saving lives. So
Yeah.
if there's something that I want to be remembered for, is that we have a change of hearts. And I talk about the greater his heart, the greater he is. The greater he is, the greater his kingdom. The greater his kingdom, the greater his people. The greater his people, the greater the society. The greater the society, the greater the children. And the
Yeah.
greater the children, the greater the world, and the greater the next generation.
Yes. It's everything is so interconnected.
Yes. And going back to, before we had the break, when we talk about women, when a woman has everything in her life,
Yes.
she has everything, because we come with nothing, but we can leave with something. And that is, if we can't take everything with us in the grave, let's leave with love in our hearts.
Mm.
And that's
That
my
is
one wish for
powerful.
everyone. And when you know who you are as a woman, you're not intimidated by any other woman who wants a chance to shine in a world that is filled with endless possibilities.
Yes.
You make room for others. It's okay for someone to have the same title, the same opportunities, the same financial breakthroughs, just like you, because you are not intimidated by any new leadership, anyone who's come up the ladder, because you know who you are. And there are a lot of beautiful, great women out there who has everything and who are willing to help others. And these are the women that we are going to be aligning with. Women who not afraid to give other people opportunities, women who are not afraid to share their resources, to share their intelligence, to share their wisdom, to give back, to help others get the same level of leadership, of development, of personal development, of career choices. These are women who leave the door unlocked so that others can walk the path and become that beacon of hope, just like who they are. And once you're on the top of the ladder and you're leaving that door unlocked for others to come in and have the same abundance like you are going to grow higher. You know, you are going, that's why people are wondering how come some people who just came out of nowhere and achieved so many great things on their journey. You know the reason why? Because they have good intentions and the universe and God knows their heart.
Yes.
So when we're stuck on the ladder because we're stuck there because of ego, because of pride, because of insecurity, because we want to leave the door unlocked and say there's no more room on the top. We want women to change that. We want women to be more working from the heart space. We want women to forget the perils of their ego. We want women to come together. We want to break the ice for better working relationship among us as women. And I always say, put love in all you do. When love wins, the world wins. And the people who are working from the heart space, they are moving because their intentions are pure. They mean well for others. They're not living in the pride and the jealousy, and they want equality. They want women to have the same things like them, and they don't feel superior and they don't feel inferior. They feel equal, and that's what I want women to feel. You know, yes, you might have more finances than someone, but just feel equal. You know, still show them love, still show them kindness, still be great to them and show them appreciation. It doesn't take anything from you to be kind and clap for another woman to win. It doesn't take nothing. It doesn't take away your $1 million to say, go ahead, Desziree, keep shining. It doesn't take anything from you to clap for another woman to see another woman winning. And this is the mindset that we want to change. That's why I have the book, Women of the Era. In this book, the reason why I created this book, because I want women to come together from all diverse backgrounds, because I believe in diverse women coming together and working together for the common good of the world, which means that giving every woman, every race, every culture an opportunity to share wisdom and understanding so that we can help empower the mindset of other women, especially the new generation of young girls, when they see diversity in the world, when they see women from all different skin tones and races and cultures sitting at the same table, that is powerful. We're making a change in the world by visual components. And this is why I started Face of War and bringing diverse women leaders and business women from all various walks of life to help change the world through speech, because words are powerful.
Yes.
Words are powerful because 5 words changed my life. And these words were, take care of your emotions. And once you take care of your emotions and your emotional intelligence, you take your power back. You take your power back because your mindset is clear, which means that you're not allowing others to tell you that you're not, because you're emotionally strong. Your mental stability is applicable. You can apply it anywhere because mentally you are strong. You can power on despite the many challenges that you're faced with.
Thank you for listening to Legacy Leader Show. If you enjoyed the content and had a positive experience, then please leave us a positive rating. In addition, leave us a positive review whenever you are listening on whatever platform there might be. Make sure your friends and family also know about the benefit and value that we provide and what we have to offer. Cheers.